Hey, what's going on out there? I'm Sean Devine. Hope you all are doing well. In this tutorial, I am really excited to share with you a new plugin that is a collaboration between Kazrog and the legendary Avalon Designs. They've brought you the Avalon VT-747sp in plugin form. A lot of you are familiar with the Avalon 737sp, legendary input processor, mono vocal processor. It's used in a lot of different studios. I have one here in front of me. You may not be as familiar with the 747, which is a stereo processor. It can be used on stems. It can be used on your stereo bus. It's a great mastering tool. It's been a secret weapon of Grammy-winning engineers for decades. Full disclosure, this is a sponsored tutorial. However, as with all the videos on my channel, I don't cover any products and services that I don't actually use in my own work and recommend. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, let's take a listen to the 747 on the stereo bus. This is just a quick preset that I've dialed in. You're gonna see me just bypass the plugin with this button here. When it's enabled, this VU meter will illuminate.
You and I, do or die. Lift me up, lift me up. It's always enough. Good with the movement, intuitive. Watch what he does with exclusive influence. Get praise that has been paid. Like soldiers in rank, we never break. You and I, do or die. Lift me up, lift me up. It's always enough. Good with the movement, intuitive. Watch what he does with exclusive influence. Get praise that has been paid. Like soldiers in rank, we never break. This could be my last song, my plan's gone. It's non-stop content, no nonsense. What planet you been on? Feel like nobody's listening. I stay true to the mission. Love this music since the beginning. Now they invest in my vision. Crafting beats with precision. Inspire many from a distance. While they act like I'm privileged, I put in work about my business. Pray to God.
All right, so obviously that 747 on the stereo bus gave our dull mix a lot of life. It gave us a lot of richness, fatness, smoothness, musicality. Now let's talk about what's going on under the hood. What is the 747 made up of? It's really just two main modules, and that is going to be an optical compressor. We now have a sidechain contour mode. I'll show you how this works, but essentially we have two bands that we can finally focus the compressor on. So if you want to do surgical moves with this compressor on your stereo bus, for instance, if you want to do de-essing on two-track processing, we can do that. Now, of course, the Avalon is based on vacuum tube technology. There were 3 vacuum tubes in the hardware, and Kazrog has meticulously modeled those. You can turn that on and off here with our TSP button, and if you turn it off, you're just going to get a cleaner result. This is going to be your Class A discrete transistor path there. But if you want to get the fatness, the richness, the harmonics of the tube saturation, you want to leave that on, and that is my preference here. Now on the other side, we have these sliders for 6 different bands, and this is a passive EQ, which means you're going to get a lot of really smooth musical results. So this bottom shelf on the EQ is 15 hertz. The next one here is 125 hertz. This is 500 hertz. We have 2K, 5K, and then finally we have that signature Avalon Airband at 32K, which is one of my absolute favorite sounds in an EQ. It's extremely recognizable. You've heard it used on the 737, but now using it on the stereo bus, it's become one of my favorite EQs, period. For the producers out there, I'd be willing to bet that the 747, once you try it out, it will live on your stereo bus. Give your beats, your instrumentals some competitive edge. So let's just do just that. We've got an initial preset, and then we're going to dial in some settings here on the compressor and the EQ. So a night and day difference there. You know, the tone, the sonic character of this with the vacuum tube emulation, it's just a whole different thing. Initializing on our lead rap vocal. Let's go ahead and mix this with the 747.
This could be my last song, my plan's gone, it's non-stop content, no nonsense. What planet you been on? Feel like nobody's listening. I stay true to the mission. Love this music since the beginning. Now they invest in my vision. Crafting beats with precision. Inspire many from a distance. While they act like I'm privileged, I put in work about my business. Pray to God as my witness. I'm feeling slightly uplifted. Gave me mercy during my missteps, and I failed to admit it.
Important thing to note with the threshold controls is that these are like any other compressor. If you lower the threshold, you're actually going to be introducing more compression as that signal goes above that. So rather than thinking you're turning this clockwise to get a boost or to focus it more on this frequency, actually we're going to be turning it backwards or lowering the threshold for it to focus more on these frequencies. So if you turn it all the way back, that's saying, you know, put more energy into compressing that frequency there.
Reignited my passion when I was at my lowest, losing focus, try to keep the rent paid. True love, it don't fade, but I'm screaming out most days. How do we handle this pain? No freedom in the toxins, he saved me, so I'm locked in, let's go.
So that's the compression dialed in. You'll notice that I brought back the threshold on the contour at about 6K. And it's really nice to do this on a vocal stem, but also you can do this on your master bus, really fine tune that optical compressor if you've got some sibilance problems in the 2-track itself. Moving over to the EQ.
This could be my last song, my plan's gone, it's non-stop content, no nonsense. What planet you been on? Feel like nobody's listening. I stay true to the mission. Love this music since the beginning. Now they invest in my vision. Crafting beats with precision. Inspire many from a distance. While they act like I'm privileged, I put in work about my business. Pray to God as my witness. I'm feeling slightly uplifted. Gave me mercy during my missteps, and I failed to admit it. This could be my last song, my plan's gone, it's non-stop content, no nonsense. What planet you been on? Feel like nobody's listening. I stay true to the mission. Love this music since the beginning. Now they invest in my vision. Crafting beats with precision. Inspire many from a distance. While they act like I'm privileged, I put in work about my business. Pray to God as my witness. I'm feeling slightly uplifted. Gave me mercy during my missteps, and I failed to admit it.
So this is very reminiscent of the sound for me of tracking with the 737 and just getting that tube saturation and some of those harmonics and the fatness. So a lot of you out there who may not be able to afford the 737, having this, you've got more flexibility, but also you can track with it just by going in here. And if we set our oversampling, that's what this quality setting is. If you set this to draft, that will give us a real-time latency of a whopping 0 samples, which means you can track with it without any delay. Put that as the only plugin on your input, and then you can utilize the compressor, the optical compressor, as well as that passive EQ and the tube processing in here to get an excellent front end for vocal recording. All right, y'all, so that is the all-new Avalon VT-747sp plugin from Kazrog and Avalon Design. I'm really excited about this one because the 747 hardware has always been that piece that I've enjoyed. I've heard it on a lot of records. I've heard a lot of my favorite engineers using it. It's been in the studios, and it's just not something that I was able to get my hands on. So having it now, being able to utilize this 32K band on a stereo signal, really exciting. And then also just the flexibility of the compressor section and the tubes in here. It's really, really nice to use this just as a bus compressor and a bus EQ. Give your mix some life before going into, something like a maximizer. If you want to check out some of the presets that you heard, you'll find them in the factory bank. And if you want to pick up the Studio Rack presets that have the 747 added to them that I used in this session, I'm going to put links to those in the description as well. So I hope you all enjoy the 747sp. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. If you learned anything in the video, please like, subscribe, and consider sharing. Hit that notification bell for more. We'll talk to you soon.